What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another trade recap. Today is January 8th, 2026, and today I made $4,831 day trading NQ futures. I made $966.20 on my 5 trade 500 accounts, so that is my P&L for the day. I'll put it on screen now. All right, so before I get into anything, I do live trade my strategy every single day in my Discord. I have the easiest inversion model to learn in the entire trading space. It has a 80% win rate, and I teach it totally for free in my Discord. Tons of PDFs, tons of resources, and lively executed in front of you every day. Lively, is that a word? I have no idea. But anyways, let's get right into the recap. All right, so coming into the morning on the 4-hour chart, we had a chart that looks something like this. So I was leaning bearish today. Bearish, 100%. Obvious bearish bias. Why, you may ask? Well, we recently swept out this high, and we started trading through this 4-hour fair value gap. So I'm going to bar replays. This is a little weird. This is kind of like the overnight session. We had inverse this 4-hour fair value gap to the downside. Despite that, traded back up, swept this high, made a move to the downside again, and inversed a new 4-hour fair value gap. So I was leaning bearish off of this alone, but I'll drop to the hourly time frame, and it made my bias even more clear. All right, so what I noticed on the hourly time frame, which was super huge for me taking this trade, is if I zoom in here, you notice we traded into a massive hourly fair value gap. On top of trading into this fair value gap, we had swept out a 1-hour high inside of this gap. This alone told me that we need to make some sort of rotation to the downside. Why? Highs inside of fair value gaps are great points of liquidity for a reversal. You take two confluences with tons of liquidity in them, a high time frame high and a high time frame gap, stack them up on top of each other, and let it get swept out. We're going to get some sort of reaction off this. Whether it's big or small, that doesn't matter, but going to get some reaction. Size doesn't matter. We're getting something. All right. So aside from that, taking a look at the charts, what draws do we have to the upside? We don't have much. We have this big imbalance up here, but we're trading away from it. We're inversing gaps, running lows, holding bearish structure. I know we want to go lower. Zoom out. Look at this massive trend line. We just have stacked up lows on lows on lows on lows from all the way down here. Sure, we already took the first set of lows, but we're trading through this trend line. Trend lines don't usually just get traded through, react off of, reverse. These trend lines want to get traded through pretty fully, so stacked up hourly low down here. We have lows right here. Lows right here. Just tons of draws on liquidity, the downside, that they're going to act as almost like a magnet for a reversal. Now, dropping time frames even more. What do I notice? Well, we have London lows below, so we have a session liquidity pool that we don't have an SMT with that is left just resting here, waiting to get taken. So London lows below, obvious draw. Obviously, I'm not a swing trader. I'm not taking fucking trades all the way down here, but London lows, obvious draw, pretty far away, can catch a big move to it. I want to see London lows get taken today, considering that's the next obvious draw, aside from this low right here, that we should be trading towards today. We have London lows, and we have this obvious massive wick to the downside. Both of these really clear lows I want to see get traded to. On top of that, look on the 15-minute time frame. We have this low right here, and we have this low, which is inside of a gap. So obvious draw, low inside of a gap on the 15-minute time frame. Just like the highs, this low and this gap should get traded to. With that, what is holding us up in this leg? Any fair value gaps on the 15-minute time frame? No, we have nothing that would stop us from going to this low, and I know we're going to get some sort of decent reaction off of this high. Drop to the 5-minute time frame now. No gaps except for this 5-minute fair value gap all the way up here at the top of the leg. Beautiful. This is the only thing that would stop us from rejecting these highs and running these lows. I want to get into a short off of this. This is the only single thing that can hold us up. I trade inversions. I'm entering off of this 5-minute inversion alone. It doesn't matter. There's nothing else that would stop us from at least hitting this low. We swept a high time frame high inside of a gap. We want to get a reversal. This is the only thing holding us up. I'm taking a short off of this. This trade was like the easiest trade ever. It was nothing complex. Literally 5-minute inversion, sweep of a high inside of a gap, stacked up lows below, bearish bias. That's all I needed. We didn't even have S&T, but it was still that obvious. I let a few candles play out. I let like 5 candles play out. This candle got inversed at 9:20 a.m. just in pre-market. I trade pre-market sometimes. I don't stream pre-market, but I trade it. Why? My model still works then. 5-minute inversion. I know we want to move down on the day. My bearish daily bias, and I see an entry model right before market open. I'm still taking it. This inversion is where I entered my trade. Now, we had a market open candle coming up. I know it's going to be almost like a data wick. You all know how market open candles are. They're massive. That being considered, I had set my stop loss at this wick all the way up here. I didn't set it at a closure back above this 5-minute. I didn't set it at the top of this 5-minute inversion. I just set it at the swing high, knowing we could get a big candle off market open. Set it at this high. Targets, this low for TP1. London lows for TP2. And no, the low is not there. It's actually right here. I don't give a shit what anyone says. London session opens at 2 a.m. If there's a low slightly lower than it, and there's nothing stopping you from going there, this is the true London low. It's not this just because the indicator says it. That's the London low. Now, I'm going to let this play out on the 1-minute time frame just so you can see my thought process through all of this, but this trade played out very quick. So I entered this trade Sure, we swept this low, but we inversed the 5-minute. That was the only thing holding us up, so I wasn't concerned about this internal low. I was going to go break even at this first low right here, which got hit right away. And my first take profit got hit within a few candles. Right after that, we run right almost to London low. You see a little bit of some pullbacks on the way, but we hit London lows within a few candles. This was almost a 4 RR trade. That's huge for my inversion system. I normally don't trade this high RR, but the draw was that obvious, so I was willing to take it. It was almost 450 ticks, like insane trade, but it was so obvious, I wanted to take this. So another thing to be aware of, just because market experience, I know market open candle is going to be big. That's why I set my stop at the swing high. If I would have set it like up at the top of this fair value gap, how I normally do sometimes, I would have got stopped out. I had no reason to set it there. I didn't need to be that risk adherent because, I mean, it was only a 68 stop there. It's not even big. Pause. So I set it at the swing high, 115 ticks away. I entered with micros. I had weird risk. I think I entered like 6 micros, something like that. I took off weird amount of the slow. Weird risk management. All I know is I made 966 on this trade. Why I risked lower? Because it was pre-market. Even though I do trade pre-market less frequently, I still am willing to enter trades, but usually lower risk just because it's not as probable, even though the setup was beautiful. And I mean, by 9:43 in the morning, full take profit was hit. But I mean, take profit 1 was hit before market even opened, or on the market open candle. It was beautiful. I was bored in my live stream today because I had nothing else to do, but this was the setup for the day. I mean, there's a couple other longs people could have taken. Some people did take later on in the session. I'll kind of let it play out, but that was my trade for the day. Overall, I ranked that setup A-. Only thing being, we didn't have an SMT, but it's pre-market. You don't see a lot of SMTs pre-market unless it's like a super high time frame draw on liquidity, which that, of course, was, but sometimes SMTs are less probable to happen in pre-market, so no pre-market. SMT can't be A+ or A++, but still, great trade nonetheless. This was kind of discretionary, but I've been trading my model so long, and I know liquidity so well, this was easy to find. That being said, if you want to learn how to trade how I do, my model is entirely free in my Discord. You can see all the PDFs that I use, ranking systems, everything. Free bootcamp on my page. Check it out if you are still new to trading and want to see some of my confluences and some of my other videos that I may have. But overall, great trading day. I had no problems with this. I am 1-1 on my live account for the new year, and I'm just very happy with how that trade went. I'll wrap up the trade recap here. I hope to see you all in the Discord and tune back in for more live trade recaps or a continuation of my bootcamp.